Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good afternoon and welcome to Urban Lifestyle Cafe. I'm Michael, your bougie black brother, and I'm here with my co-host Alicia.
Hello.
And we're still on our foreign movie direction, and we're gonna stick with actual Netflix. And there was something that popped up that we was going through, and I read the summary of this small mini series, and the mini series is called The Mantis, or in French, Le Mante, is the Mantis. But what the premise is there's a female serial killer, and the police are finding a copycat of her crimes. So she writes the actual police officer in charge and says, I can help. That's it. No more, no less. I can help. So he decides to see what she got to say, and she said she'll only help if
Her son,
who
is a police officer,
who, no one really knew that he was a police officer. She said, if he's involved in the case, then I'll help you. And they was kind of like, I don't understand. Why would he help? Because they thought they hid from her what his identity and everything was. So that was a small little premise and everything. And we was like, I think we need to see this.
Yeah, because it was actually very unique.
Yeah, so the summary was unique, and I was like, let me see who's in it. And it's French, so it's going to be a level of detail that we're most likely going to really, really enjoy. So we opened the scene up with a crime scene in which this man, his head was chopped off and sat next to him, and his arms and legs were tied down, and his genitalia was cut off as well. And you see the police officers come in, or the investigators come in, and just started going through the case and saying, yep, this is exactly like the previous murders that the Mantis, La Mante, so it's feminine, La Mante, was, I think it was 25 years ago?
Yes, 25
years ago.
Yeah.
So when you had the premise of this, baby, and this was opening scene, what did you think about this?
Oh, it was just gory. I mean, I don't like seeing stuff like that. But the thing was that when you said it was when they said that she was a serial killer, it was like, okay, so when they opened up, you automatically knew that it was somebody copycatting, because they were referring to the woman who actually did it,
right,
and she was already in jail. And so when they put it out there, because they were just, it was like the show wasn't really about not trying to find the killer, because this person who was copycatting, she just kept doing it and doing it and doing it, because there was just more than one person that she was killing. So they had on the wall maybe about 6 or 7 men who were already killed.
They only had 3.
Oh, they only had 3 of them?
No, they only had 4 that was already done.
Right.
But they were all copycat of what Le Mante actually did. Her name is Janae.
Yeah, Janae. And so it was interesting, because when they started out, it was first a man they assumed was doing it.
Exactly.
And it was like, nah, it's not him, because he was crying. He's like, what they did when they caught him, they put him.
They caught who?
The man. The man they assumed killed.
Exactly. So they traced a guy who they thought was the killer.
Right.
Based on they was finding some things, and he wanted to reach out to her because he was pen piling her in the actual jail.
Right.
So he was like a pen pal. So they assumed, oh, we got the guy.
Right.
We know it has to be him. And then when they wanted to question him, he took off. And they was like, oh, got him. We got him. So not only did they take her out of the jail, they put her in some French cottage.
No. The thing was is that she was supposed to help them with the stipulation that she would be in another place for her to communicate.
Right.
With her son.
Right. So they had to take her from the jail.
Right. So that's where the whole setting was. But she was doing some crazy shit too now.
Well, outside of that. But in between, you just didn't get it. But so she started helping them. Come to find out, her son was an undercover cop, and he just been away from home, and he was newly wed with a wife of 5 years who had a child and divorced from someone else. And so funny because she was friends with another girl that they ran like a pottery place together.
Right.
And that girlfriend actually hooked her up with him, So when you go and say, well, who was these people? Well, these are who the hookup was.
Right. It's an easy storyline because it was just that it got even more intense where you really were curious of who was the copycat killer. And at the very beginning, you wasn't sure who it was.
Yeah, so they made it really broad. So, but she was giving them good information. So
She
one
sure
guy,
was.
when she realized that, if you when they chased him down, they found that he had pictures of a family, and the pictures of the family, he put his face on. So they was like, he has a family somewhere, but they never had anything like that. So when they tried to track that down, it was to come to find out he was adopted. But they said, so then how did he get a family? But they tracked it down to find out that not only was he adopted, but his true family, his mother had another son. So
Right.
He was jealous of him. So come to find out, what this crazy bastard did was kidnap the father and, held the family hostage.
Yeah.
And so to be his family. So, which was like crazy as hell. So he kept them all tied up, and they didn't know where the father was or his brother was. So what they did with that was she was able to speak to him. So when he called her, she was like, so, and then this was made it intense. So the lady who played Mantis, Janae, is a actress called Carol Bouquet. And her look is just so cold. When you look at her, she looks like she would cut your goddamn throat with no problem whatsoever.
She was evil.
So she played a really hard, cold woman, but it was like she was meticulous. Like she know what the hell was going on, and she knew she had some kind of plan. You don't know what it was, but you can just see it that she didn't play that shit. She wanted what she wanted, and she was going to create what she wanted to create. So when she was talking to the guy, she was like, so when you killed the other people, how did it feel? Did you wait to see them? And then when she realized he didn't kill none of them, she was like, you didn't kill anybody. You didn't do this.
You sure did.
You're weak. You're a weak man.
Yeah.
And, so he really got upset. And she was like, no, he's not the guy.
Yeah,
he's not the guy.
Yeah.
He said, and the father's still alive. Because he's too weak to do that. But yet you see him, he was staying in the house with the family, and they was all fucking tied up and shit.
Yeah. He was crazy.
He was just crazy. He was just a psychotic guy that had some issues. But he knew the secret because her son had a new identity. And they told him that his mother died in a plane crash. And no, they told everybody that his mother died in a plane crash.
Because he knew
he knew that his mother went to jail.
Right. But they changed his name. His mother wanted his name changed so that they don't associate. She didn't want to mess up his life.
Yeah, so she said, please separate myself from it.
Yeah, she did.
All he had left was him and his grandfather.
Right.
Because his mother allegedly died from a mauling by a lion. A lion mauled his grandmother. Oh, his grandmother.
His grandmother, yeah.
So,
her mother.
Her mother. So that was what the story was. We'll get to that. So the grandfather was like, "Why are you dealing with her?
Yeah, she's evil.
She's evil.
She's all she's gonna do is cause trouble.
Don't do this. You're gonna regret it. Don't deal with her." But he wanted to solve the crime, and he was just kind of like thrown off by her because he's kind of like, you can tell, and this is the one good thing with foreign movies, you can see them emotionally. They don't really have to say anything. You can see how they was emotionally kind of distraught. Like, he was so confused, but he wanted to hold on to his anger that his mother was a killer and did all of these killing and left him.
Right.
So he was just really angry at that. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. Well, his wife wanted something to do with it because she was kind of like, it's a mystery. Everything about your mother and your family is a mystery. So her girlfriend was like, hey, if they talk about their mother, let's go back to the town where they lived. And she was just really, really open to get her to find different things.
Yeah, her girlfriend who's supposed to be her best friend.
Yeah, her best friend. And she would take her everywhere. So she took her back to the town that he lived in. Because remember, like we said in the German movies, people has a tendency of staying in the same town unless they move out to do. So they went back to the town, and the neighbors, they had a neighbor that was actually taking care of the home and everything like that. And they snuck in the house, and the neighbor and his son was already in the house. And they saw them break in, and they show up with a shotgun and say, "What the fuck are y'all doing up in here?" And they was like, "Oh, I'm such and such's wife," and blah blah blah. And it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. His mother died, and it really devastated him." And her girlfriend was like, "Oh, don't you think he's cute? I think he's really really cute." And so I don't know, which is interesting. What do you think about this? She had 2 flat tires. Do you think he did that? At first, I thought he did.
No, I don't. I think she did it. I think her girlfriend did it.
Really?
Yeah, because she
wanted to set it up.
Yes, she wanted.
So at first, I thought it was him, but then when I found out he wasn't a killer, then I was like, he had no reason to do that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He just so happened.
Yeah, because he said he was trying. He was trying to help his because that was his brother.
Yeah. So come to find out,
that was Damien's brother.
Yeah. So come to find out, Damien had
a half brother,
which was his father slept with
his mom.
His mom. His mom. After his father was an abusive man that was beating her and the family up, and they was like, this guy had to die. His grandfather said he had to die because he was really a violent man. He said if your mom didn't kill him, because at first she never admitted to killing her husband. Mm-hmm. But the new murder that happened, which was interesting, as they was tracing it, one of the new murders was a man inside of a well.
Right.
And they was like, that wasn't part of the Mantis murders. Mm-hmm. What the hell is that?
Because he was there for a long time down there.
No, not that guy.
Oh, there was another one.
The new guy wasn't dead. But, so it made Damien think about it and say, wait a minute, I got a fucking well in my yard. So when he went back to the well, then he saw that there was bones down there because it deteriorated over the years.
Right.
So he realized that was his father and his mother had to kill him. So except for addressing it with her, he went to his grandfather, and his grandfather was like, no, she had to do that because she told him he was going to throw you out the window because he was really, really pissed off. You know what I mean?
Right.
And before she did that, she fucking stabbed him, and then they just threw him in the well, and they sealed the well up. So that was a murder that was never confirmed by anyone.
Right, because they asked her, and she said no.
Yeah. So he went back to the recording, and they was like, did you kill your husband such and such? And she just waited.
She paused and just said.
Paused. Then she's like,
no. Because she said yes to all the other murders that she committed.
All the other 7, she was like, we.
Yeah, that was.
movie? And then it was a whole hesitation, and she was like,
Nope.
no. And you could see it on her face, like, yo, if I had an opportunity, I'll kill your ass too. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
So the real thing was it built up to it where they were trying to figure out who did it. They thought it was a transvestite, but it wasn't.
But it was based on because they was tracking the psychiatrist, and they said the psychiatrist had to have some kind of information that Janae actually would have told him, but he was like, nope, can't tell you that because that's
Dr.
kind of privilege,
Yeah,
Dr. What's called privilege.
Right.
But if he didn't give it out and they had the paperwork, there had to be somebody there.
But he was supposed to meet. Didn't he call Damien and said, I wanted to talk to you?
No. So Damien talked to him the first time, remember?
Right, I remember Damien
downloaded some files.
Right,
some other
right.
bullshit.
But the second time, Damien called him. Yeah, Damien did call him because he was in the car, and the girl was in the back seat.
Oh, that was the second time.
Yeah, that was the second time because he called Damien, and he looked at it and he told Damien, "Yeah, we need to talk because I got some information for you."
No, so let me make sure you.
While in the car,
Damien called him.
Damien called, or he called Damien. I believe because Damien looked at the phone. Damien looked at the phone.
Right.
He saw it was the doctor. He looked in the back seat. He turned back around. He took the call.
Right. Or, no, he looked, because they were kind of talking. They wasn't. But then he said, I need to talk to you. And he's like, I'll be back in the office tomorrow morning.
Right.
So please come by tomorrow.
Exactly.
And she was in the back seat.
Exactly.
Her girlfriend.
Yes.
So cut to the chase. This girlfriend was the fucking criminal all the goddamn long because it was a child of one of the people who she murdered.
Yes.
It was one of the
the daughter.
The daughter, because the father was abusing and beating her and abusing her. And so he grew to admire her because it was a boy and he wanted to be a woman. So he wound up but he was a little boy and he had some botched up operations and shit, which was like really fucking crazy. But so obviously his brother didn't know or have sex with her yet. He was just kissing her. So
okay.
So that was pretty interesting as shit. But anyway, so all along she was the killer, and I was like, it had to be somebody close to her. But I was like, but the woman, it was just hard for me to see that she would be that brutal. But again, she's a man with hormones that made her a woman and everything.
Right. So she kidnapped his wife.
Yeah, his wife, because that was her best friend.
Right.
She didn't want to kidnap her. She was pissed off because she realized Janae
didn't give her the attention.
She didn't give her attention, and she said, you sided with
your
son
right,
instead of me.
Yes, exactly.
And it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
But she admired her, and she said, I did everything for you and your family. Now I'm going to take it away from your family.
Right.
Now I'm going to take your family away. So she kidnapped her. She realized that
she was pregnant.
Yeah,
but she knew
Damien's
she
wife,
pregnant.
Lucy, was pregnant.
Right.
But now she was like, so I'm going to make the whole family suffer. She said, I'll give Lucy back if you give me Janae.
Right.
And Janae was like, hey, I ain't got no problem with that.
Right. And so what she did was she gave Lucy some water with what do you call it?
An abortion pill or something like that.
Yeah.
Like a day after pill.
Right.
Or something in that.
And try to
but before that.
Okay, before that.
All of that. So we was noticing that Janae was in this, her little cottage prison that she was in. So she would always go into the bathroom.
Don't talk about the roaches.
Yeah, and she would put a piece of bread.
Oh my Lord!
Up into the air conditioned.
Yeah, I was thinking a rat was gonna come.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But it was like a whole bunch of like roaches type. And they was eating the bread, and they was like, they was all up there, and I was like, what the fuck is that all about? So she says she passed out. And no. Before she passed out, she said, "Oh, I got a headache. Please, could I get something for my headache?" And so he gave her like 2 pills, and she took the pills and said, "Thank you." Then she went into the bathroom and emptied the contents of the pill. And I was like, okay, what the fuck is she gonna do with that? So she opens up the fucking air vent, and you see all these damn roaches and like crumbs and stuff that's in there, and she rakes up some of the discharge from the fucking the roaches, and put it in the pill. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck is she doing? I said, so she must gonna poison herself so they can rush her to the hospital. Well, she passes out because she puts it in her mouth and she passes out. And I was like, oh, that's what the fuck it is. So she passes out, and the guy that's been there, he sees her on the camera, and he walks in there. He rushes in there, and it's like, are you okay? And he pulls her up, and she just kisses him. And what you don't realize is she passes that fucking pill to him, and he just starts slowly convulsing. And she tells him, she said, you just took in some poison, and it's the excretion of these bugs that live in the air vent, and it's very poisonous. And she just fucking walked out. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I was like, shit, what the hell? So she walked out, and she winds up at Damien's goddamn apartment or the place that he's
her house, his house.
And she talks with his wife, Lucy.
Yep. That didn't know that his mom
was alive.
Sure
and
didn't.
Damien comes back and was like, oh, this is some bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, okay, whatever. She said, I told her everything. I told her I killed your father, and that's why I went to jail. And that's what happened. That's all that happened. So he got so pissed off, and he was like, leave me. I'm tired of all of this and such and that. While at the same time, her girlfriend was seeing her brother. He didn't realize that was his brother until the criminal called his brother and said, hey, what you doing? Don't you want to be alone? Because he had an admirer named Rose or something that kept emailing him because he made graphic novels.
Yeah, that was his Lucy's best friend.
Yeah, that was Lucy's best friend.
Yeah.
So she was texting him on the computer, and he was like, yeah. So they was there at some concert waiting on the serial killer to kill somebody at the concert. But she's like, oh, I changed my mind. I decided to go somewhere else. And she killed his brother. So when they said the only DNA they found was yours and his. And once they killed him, they let him know that you'll have the same DNA.
Yeah, that's how he knew they were related.
That's how he found out that, hey, we're brothers and everything. So, even though she went and talked to her mother talked to his wife, she went back. She was like, no hard feelings, dude. I just had to get out. And the black guy was mad as fuck. And he put like a tracker on her leg and said, if you leave the premise within any kind of feet, then the alarm will go off.
Right.
They'll get your ass. And she was like, okay.
So, but that's when they, then it comes down to them switching each other. So we come back to the fact that Lucy and Janae had to switch, because
so he found out that the doctor, because he went to see the doctor the next day. And the doctor was dead.
Yeah, doctor was dead.
All of the records and everything were all gone.
Right.
And so they kind of tracked it down because they was going to give up on her, and she was like, no, it had to be one of the victims, someone related to one of the victims.
Yeah, they said somebody close, somebody that knows you, somebody that set you all up.
And someone who knows about the victims or whatever like that.
Right.
So they tracked it down to the one girl that the little girl, which happens, they found out was a little boy, but she just disappeared. She didn't have no name, no nothing. but they just tracked her records that she was having some issues. So come to find out, that's why she killed the doctor, because she was seeing the same psychiatrist that Janae was actually seeing.
Yes, exactly.
So that's where they made the connection. And once they made the connection, then it was kind of like, you betrayed me. You betrayed my trust that we had. I've done everything for you. She said, but if you don't give me Janae, then Lucy dies, her and her child.
Right. So that's how that set that up. So once that was set up, and then they found out where the serial killer, the copycat serial killer was.
Yeah.
Janae convinced her to let her go.
So Janae was like, we got things to finish.
Right.
You told on yourself. So she talked her through it and said, I didn't do any of this.
Yeah, she was very good at
she was just
good
so
at
straightforward.
talking her way through getting out of something.
Yep.
But what was so cool about it was Janae really was trying to solve her own problem.
Yeah, so she had some unfinished business.
She really did. And so
with her life.
Right, because this is where when you thought it was ending, it didn't end that way.
Yeah. You just thought she would just wanted to get away.
Right. And so that's when they asked her where she was at. They asked the copycat killer where she went to, where she was at. And I think Damien finally figured out what really was.
So she was talking with him, and I'm not sure. She told him something that made him think of, you know what? She either had to go back to the home.
Well, he found a tape of his mom.
Oh, that's right. So
he found a tape.
Where were the tapes
at the doctor's office.
Oh, he went into the doctor's office, and then he started listening to his mother's tapes.
Right, and that's when he heard when she was talking about the lion and who the lion was. And then it finally...
But she was under hypnosis.
Right. And
so her subconscious was telling on her.
But then she said that she remembered everything when she was... Because remember when she escaped, they showed her at her father's house. And she told him, I remember everything. Everything.
Yeah, because he was asleep.
Right.
And she fucking
put a needle in his neck
like she does everybody. And dragged his ass back to.
And so when her son Damien found it, he heard everything, and it then clicked to him.
Yep.
He's like, oh shit, it's my grandfather. Let me get the fuck over there, because his wife's daughter, was close, and he thought that his grandfather may have did something to his daughter. So when he went over there, he went past his mom. Put the gun to him.
Yep.
he went
walked
past
right
his mom
her and put the gun to his head.
And put it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna kill you right now. Did you touch her?
He said, did you touch her? Did you do anything? And he was like, no, only her. But in between that, so her memories went back to when she was saying a lion, attacked my mother and killed her, and I saw it happen. But what happened was he was sneaking in and molesting her.
Yes,
and then her mother caught him.
Yeah, his mother caught him,
and she pulled him out, and
was about to. She went off, and he took her out. Yep,
he took her outside, and he was just smashing her head in. And daughter went up to the window and saw it happen. But the one image that she remembered is her father had a necklace with a lion on it.
Yep.
So she just, displaced. Well, not displaced, but she used the image of the lion of saying that the lion did it.
Right.
Not her father. So,
right. And it was interesting because her son finally realized that everything that she went through, which was so cool, because at the end you thought that she really was a crazy serial killer. But in all, what it really was that her father
caused her.
Made the thing that her father did to her caused her.
Yep. Go ahead.
He caused her to be a serial killer.
Yeah,
because
so
every
she
man
wanted to pay these men, all these men who molested or did anything with children. She killed them.
Yes, exactly.
It wasn't because throughout the movie she kept saying, "No, I only did it with people who deserved it."
Right, and that's what's so cool because, so these copycat, they didn't understand why she did it.
Nope.
They just was killing men. This woman was just killing men just to kill men. And
she was killing men, come to find out when they did the research, she was killing men because of the men who rejected her.
Right.
Because she wasn't who she was supposed to be, because she had operations and they didn't make her body right. So when you rejected her, she took revenge out on in different ways. But she did it because they had children and they were molesting the children. And she made sure, oh, I'm fucking killing your ass.
Yeah.
Each one of y'all,
Yes.
I'm gonna fucking
Yes.
do that.
So, and her son finally understood why.
Yeah. So his grandfather drove her
Yes.
into this insanity
Yes.
and obsession to kill these men.
Exactly.
Not because she didn't care about her son, not because she was just a natural killer. It's because she submerged these thoughts of what happened to her, and it came out in a way with violent men who did things, so she reacted out with that. So it was interesting. It was
I love how it ended because it made me cry. Because it really, I was like, she did exactly what she was supposed to do, and she was protecting her son. That's why she did what she did, and her son finally understood what she did, because at the end he called his mama and hugged her and said, "I'm going to be a father."
Yep.
And she walked. She was like, "You go and be with your wife, son." And then she walked back into the jail, and because she knew it wasn't. She could have walked away, but she knew what she did, and her son now knew what she did and why she did it, and she was all right with that.
Yeah, and the thing was, she accepted what she did. She knew that, but she, in the end, and what we didn't say was, they told him to get out, or they told him, like, what you need to do, and he walked out. He was fucking whining, but he jumped down in the well and fucking killed himself.
Yep, he sure did. He committed suicide.
So, but there was like most of the reviews was very, very good. Some of the people were saying that it, some of the scenarios wasn't realistic. They said the first thing you need to know, there are a few inconsistencies which can make you think that this can't be real. So that's the problem. This was a movie, or this was a miniseries. This wasn't a true story of a serial killer. So when you say things don't seem real, I don't get it. You know what I mean? This wasn't real. The realism of it you can take. The inconsistencies were pretty much with the serial killer.
What they were trying to find? They said, well, they should find a similar character who's in jail who actually was a serial killer, so you could base your story from.
So there's again, the gripping series. The last episode is frustrating to watch because of so many unrealistic scenes. So I got you. There's always going to be some things that people don't find realistic. There's some plot that says, I just think the way the best friend was, I think there was inconsistencies of what she should have known and what she didn't know. What she could have been revealed of how she was doing things. So there was a lot of things that you kind of say, wait a minute, what is this bitch doing? Or what is her background? And they don't know anything about her or anything like that. Yeah, I get all of that. But it was a miniseries, and it was about revealing the history of Janae and her son.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It was a movie about their relationship.
It wasn't about a lot of the other characters.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. So, I mean, like I said, how real do they want it?
I don't know. But everybody else had like high ratings on that, like 9s. They got like 9s.
Some people just want everything to be based on some true story.
Well, or something that they would believe. And I understand that, because a lot of the French and a lot of the foreign movies, they keep it almost realistic that, oh, shit like this could happen. Or shit like this did happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get that. I get how they feel about it. But come on now.
I know. I was like,
but
whatever.
Maybe it's because we're so used to unrealistic kind of shows.
Well, what is it? You got damn Marvel Comics. There's no goddamn superhero out here called Superman. But the fantasy, the imagination of you.
But this isn't that type of genre.
I know. I mean,
this is a drama.
I'm just saying, it's a drama where people want something to be real in some form or fashion. There's plenty of dramas out there that is not real. First of all, we were talking about Silence of the Lamb. Hey, what's some of the similarities to Silence of the Lamb in this one?
Exactly.
Was Silence of the Lamb ever a true character in that whole movie?
No, not really.
Okay, so again, you got people who want everything to have some form of
I'm just reading the review.
I understand. That just pissed me off.
So obviously, I don't give a fuck what they say. But I mean, sometimes I like to know what the negative portions is. You know, remember we was talking about, you know, the Spike Lee show, the Bright, the The Last Jedi. There's so many mixed reviews of that it doesn't matter. People are gonna have their own opinion. And if they have an opinion that they don't like it, okay, there's nothing wrong with them not liking it. I like for people, if you don't like it, have a reason. You know what I mean? Have a reason. And if your reason is, the reason is it's not real. Dude, this is a show. This isn't a fucking reenactment of a true story. This isn't that. It's a show. Now, if you said otherwise, then I would have been okay though. But
I just like, you know, that's just stupid. How many other movies you said is not real? Give me a list of movies that's not real. We're gonna say, yeah, it's not real. Well, of course it's not real.
So I don't like it because it wasn't real. Okay.
Yeah.
So you should only look at documentaries.
Yeah.
Because
that's
you
a
want real
true
shit.
story.
So that's true. All that's what they're
Yes.
saying is true because
Yes.
it's based on true whatever they putting out.
Yes.
So anywho,
anywho.
that was the Mantis, La Mante, which was a miniseries, so it shouldn't be come back on, but that's what they do a lot.
And this one is
French
not
normally
English
does that.
dub. This is not English dub. You have to read the subtitles on this
So
one.
this one is not dubbed.
No, it's not dubbed. This is subtitles.
Okay, so
So
be aware.
yes, be aware.
And it's a Netflix movie as well.
Explore your horizon and try an international movie or French movie or anything that has subtitles. You should enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy. We talked about this before. We had another forum where we talked about people. We said, hey, listen, y'all need to get into it.
I think that was...
That was way back.
No, that was one of our favorite movies.
Which
one of
one?
the ones that remember the one that this man raped her and she did the whole...
Yes, that was, oh my God. What's her name? What was the name of it? Oh my gosh.
Her
I
name
can't
was
remember
Michelle,
that.
right?
Yeah, yes, something like that.
But it was short, but it was fucking great.
Yeah, it was a very good movie.
It was a really good movie.
Yeah. And I pray that they don't bother to make any of these movies American.
So it depends on who the director is, because there's a lot of amazing American directors that do great, jobs. But we'll see. But anything else on the movie?
No, darling. I did enjoy this movie, I have to say.
Yep, I enjoyed it too. I really liked how they did it, and the characters were really, to me, the characters were realistic. Maybe some of the scenarios wasn't realistic, but I think the characters, you can see the frustration and the anger and the just all type of emotion that they all felt. Because even the chief of police was kind of like, look, I got to do this. I know it's wrong. I'm going to take the hit for this, but God damn it, I got to do this.
Yes.
And, you can see what he struggled with that. And, the emotional, the way they acted was just amazing. It was really, really good. But anywho, Urban Lifestyle Cafe. Check us out every Wednesday, where we have TV shows or movies. Go on iTunes. If you go on iTunes, it will be there under Urban Lifestyle Cafe. And some on YouTube, depends on if we let it go through or not. And you'll get the podcast there as well. But go to bougieblackbrother.com and click on Urban Lifestyle Cafe under movies, and you can get us all right there. But contact us because we had some requests on a couple of movies and a couple of shows that they wanted us to see.
Yep.
Which
and
we
even your
went
review.
through.
Yeah.
And leave a quick review. I really appreciate it. We had some people that was actually extras on one of the shows that say great analysis. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's kind of worth it. We putting it on the different genres and different other platforms that most people can actually hear it or get to see it. So thank you so much for all of that. And you can contact us at Bougie Black Bro and find BLK Woman on Twitter as well as Instagram. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon on Urban Lifestyle Cafe. Bye-bye.
Bye.